Hello everyone and welcome back to Turner's Tutoring. I'm Mr. Turner with our K to 2nd grade read through. This is from the 5-minute stories from Disney, and it's the villain's story this time. We are going to start with the first one in the story, Coop at the Zoo. If you like these stories, please remember to support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and get started with Coop at the Zoo using the pointer finger strategy. Follow along with the pointer, the words right above it. Coop at the Zoo. What? Cruella barked into her phone late one night. A smooth voice came over the line. Ma'am, Horace is the name. Me and my best mate Jasper here would be honored to be your humble crooks. Cruella grinned, not the type to get her hands dirty, but with much dirty work to do, she had put an ad in the paper in hopes of finding henchmen. It appeared she had her first candidates. Splendid! Meet me tomorrow at the local inn, 8 o'clock, sharp. The next night, Cruella sped off to interview the two hopefuls. As she scanned the room, a ruckus erupted. It was my smarts we used to scan this hot mill, and for some reason it's in your mouth. You wouldn't know smarts if they fell from the sky and hit you on your big head. Cruella smiled, recognizing one of the voices. Cruella walked over to the bickering men. Enough, she said, and right away they both fell silent. Darlings, I'm Cruella DeVille. A pleasure, I'm sure, if you'd like to become my new assistants. You must convince me you're a good fit. I'd like for you to steal an animal from the new zoo. Can you do it? She jangled her purse for added effect, and the crooks eyed it with wild hunger. Just tell us when and we'll be there, Jasper said. Horace nodded along eagerly. Excellent. We meet tomorrow at dusk at Regent's Park. The next evening, Cruella met Horace and Jasper outside the soon-to-open London Zoo. Get in there, and quickly. Yes, ma'am. Which animal do you fancy we fetch for you, Miss DeVille? Horace hollered. Not so loud, Cruella scolded. That one. She jabbed her finger at a newspaper photo of a polar bear. This'll be easy, ma'am, whispered Jasper. Like taking babies from a candy, he nodded confidently. Be right back. All right, now, easy does it, Jasper guided Horace, who was working a large net into the sleeping polar bear's cage. But it turned out the animal was in no mood to be bear-napped. You just had to wake it up, didn't you? Jasper shouted at Horace as they made a hasty retreat. Well, you wasn't exactly quiet yourself, Horace shot back. Cruella turned crimson when she saw the duo without her promised prize. You cowards, she sputtered. Ah, we're sorry, ma'am, Horace said. What about a smaller animal? A cheetah, perhaps? Cruella glared at them. Finally she sighed. I do have a soft spot for, well, spots. She cackled, then quickly scowled at the two men. All right, a cheetah, and I'm coming with you this time to make sure you don't mess this up. But the cheetah was too fast for the slow-witted crooks, and when Horace and Jasper fell to steal a lion next, Cruella grew even more furious. When they failed at thieving an elephant, Cruella's eye began to twitch. It seemed clear as day that Horace and Jasper did not have what it took to crook. But Cruella was willing to give them one final shot. Try stealing one of the more docile little beasts, she instructed them. Do it, and do it now. Horace and Jasper wasted no time breaking into the children's petting zoo. "We've got this one in the can, mate," Jasper said to Joris as they sauntered into the animal pens. But then the baby llamas spit in their faces, the piglets chased them into the mud, and the ducklings pecked at them in the pond. Outside the petting zoo, Cruella was growing more and more impatient. Suddenly the men appeared, and they ran right past her. "Stampede!" yelled Jasper. "Run!" shouted Horace. Cruella craned her neck to see the massive beasts that had inspired such terror in her would-be underlings. But all that scampered into view were fuzzy ducklings, muddy piglets, sweet baby llamas, and bleating baby goats. Cruella boiled over, realizing that Horace and Jasper must have accidentally released the petting zoo animals. "Idiots!" she yelled. She'd had enough of Horace and Jasper's hijinks. "You complete imbeciles!" she shouted as they ran past her again. She looked around. What an utter disaster! Were these really the best henchmen she could find? Cruella would have to do everything herself. One beastly animal she could have gotten away with, but she didn't want the police on high alert because someone had stolen the entire children's petting zoo. "I'll handle this," she grumbled. She retrieved her car and corralled all the animals back into their cages and pens. Eventually, "My car, it's filthy. You are good for nothing. You can't even clean up your own mess. Did I mention I hate getting my hands dirty?" Cruella roared at Horace and Jasper. "This is the last time I ever work with you. You idiots," Horace suggested. "Complete imbeciles," Jasper offered. "Shut up!" Cruella screamed. The men flinched. Cruella was fuming. She stomped off into the night. Horace and Jasper looked at each other and shrugged, thinking of how they could make it up to Cruella. A little while later, Cruella sagged up the stairs to her room at the manor. She opened the door, and her jaw dropped. Her bedroom had been completely transformed. The furniture had all been uncovered, and everything sparkled like new. Just then, there was a tap on her door. Horace and Jasper were standing in the hallway. "Now you don't have to get your hands any dirtier than they are," Horace burst out, triumphant. "We can't fix up our own messes, but we sure could fix up yours, ma'am," added Jasper. "You did, didn't you? Well, you did a rather mediocre job. But," Cruella couldn't fight the smile, "it is kind of nice to have company here. It can get a bit lonely. Okay, fine. I'll have you two as my assistants." Horace and Jasper cheered as Cruella flopped down on her newly made bed, dirt and all. "Now, let's see if your bacon is better than your thieving." Thank you, everyone, for joining me for another read aloud. This one being from the 5-minute villain stories from Disney. I'm Mr. Turner from Turner's Tutoring, hoping that you enjoyed this and wishing you guys a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.